Hello, everyone. Warm welcome to this webinar talking about how to develop your child as a leader. I'm Fernando from Ignite Global, and we have Lux today, who has 10 years background in education and also an associate certified coach. And in the last 2 years, she conducted a study to learn how to use a coaching approach when it comes to developing children. So today she's here to share with all of you some guidelines, ideas, insights, how to create a future leader in your child. Over to you, Lux.
Thank you, Coach Fernando. Hello, everyone. So good to see you all. I'm not going to say much. Let's dive into the session straight away. I am going to share my screen and I will not see you when I share my screen. So if you want to speak, please feel free to unmute yourself and speak. And for the moment, I invite everyone to keep yourself unmuted so that we can avoid any background noise. Thank you. Okay, let me share my screen. Coach Fernando, can I have that? Okay, thank you. Okay, everyone. So we are Ignite Global, ICF accredited coaching training provider. ICF stands for International Coach Federation, the world's most prestigious accreditation and this golden standard of the coaching world. So today, we would like to officially welcome you to the Ignite Future Leaders in Your Children webinar. We all have different reasons and interests. So we would like to know what ignited the spark in you to join this webinar today. Who would like to share? Tina, would you like to share with us what ignited the spark in you to join this webinar today?
Hi, Ms. Lex, how are you? And I think just to see how I can empower my child for better, and yeah, and to make this parenting process much more easier. And yeah, I think these two things, I feel that, and make my relationship much more better, you know, be a more better parent and a friend to my child.
Amazing, wanting to become a better parent for your child. That's true dedication. So I commend you for that. Who else would like to share with us? What was the reason behind wanting to join this webinar today? I don't see anyone else. Coach Lorena, would you like to share anything? Okay, never mind. That's fine. I'm sure we all have different reasons and interests why we wanted to join this webinar today. However, something to remember is that the common thing we have in us is children. We are here for our children, right? So the fact that you are here wanting to improve your parenting skills shows your dedication, wanting to become a better parent for your child. And I commend you for that, all of you. Wonderful. So let's move on. What symbolizes you? So when I say what symbolizes you, I don't mean that, you know, your titles, your positions, nothing. What I mean is what deep down, what symbolizes you? It could be something, it could be a thing, it could be a place, it could be energy, it could be anything. Like, for example, when we did this exercise with one of our trainings, one of the coaches said that he symbolizes a tree. tree symbolize tree provides shade and shelter to little animals, fruits and flowers and oxygen, all of that. And he said, deep down, that's how he feels about himself. So I invite you to take about 2 minutes and think what symbolizes you. If you want, you can even sketch it on a piece of paper and you can share us. Okay.
Hello, Luke. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I live in Philippines. Good afternoon, Fernando. For we used to meet each other in the October 29th last year. Okay, thank you. Thank you for sending your email to me about the symbolize. I think it's about the safest environment, the safe environment, the safe, the safest in the environment that I keep me encouraged about to be brave, to be courage, to be to strong emotion like the symbol is about the peace that that you join me the peace the atmosphere of the safest I keep warm bring me to encourage me to be brave to be courage to do the good thing that uh, by the way if the family that uh, maintain your child with warmly with the safety, with the knowledge, to recognize with the knowledge, acknowledge about to try acknowledge about the something that something right, something wrong to compare that the student maybe is strong about the wisdom to decide their life with the maybe I hope for the peace that really much more to save in every way. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you very much for sharing to save the world and symbolizing peace and to be brave and courageous. And that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing with us. And who would like to share next? Anyone else in the room would want to share what symbolizes you? Okay. Never. Thank you. So moving on, the reason why I asked what symbolizes you is that most of the time, let's imagine that we are walking into a room. We see a lot of people, right? What we see is people's skin color, their hair color, what they're wearing, and sometimes what their job titles are, all of these things. But in truth, in real, there are so much more to us than just what we look like. There is so much depth in us. And this is what we say that the true essence of a being, right? So what is more beautiful thing about this is that our children also have this beautiful light in them. Sometimes we look at children like just little children or even mini versions of us. But the truth is that they too carry this beautiful, unique light. And if we are careful enough to uh, carefully look, search for it, we can recognize that little light in their, the little spark in their eyes. Right. Um, Dr. Maria Montessori, who is the founder of Montessori education, said, within the child lies the fate of the future. And the reason why I'm sharing this is parents, think about people who have contributed to this world something extraordinary people. Like, for example, Albert Einstein. What would Albert Einstein be without his curiosity, that true essence in him, right? And see what he contributed to our world. The same way, think about Mother Teresa, for example, and that essence of compassion with that true light, see what she contributed to this world. So it's our responsibility as parents to enhance that light in our children, because that's what's going to make them so special. That's what's going to make them true, unique leaders. Would you agree with me? Okay. Now we are moving forward. To do that, we encourage parents to become super parents. So when we say super parent, there are many concepts around this subject. There are some call it super parenting, some call it positive parenting, and all sort of things. So I thought it would be beneficial for us to explore some of these ideas. Let's have a look at some of these concepts. So when it comes to super parenting, have you heard people say positive parents just want to be friends with their children? Positive parenting, isn't that the one where every kid gets a trophy and parents giving to their child every request? Or your child will end up controlling you and make the advantage of you. Here is another one. Positive parents don't discipline. Positive parenting is making our kids weak and lazy because parents don't discipline kids anymore. You will end up spoiling your children because you can never say no to your children in positive parenting. Here is another one. Positive parenting is not practical. Oh, positive parenting, I tried that once. It doesn't work for my kid. He only listens to me when I yell. Or some might say, my parents did not use positive parenting and I turn out fine. And it's very understandable, very reasonable why parents feel this way. So I used to work as an educator over 10 years. And when I became a coach, I was very curious to apply coaching skills to enhance child development. However, coaching is a still new concept in the world, so I was not able to find a lot of information. But I was very lucky because I have child development education, coaching education. Also, I was working as an educator, directly working with children, parents, and educators, so that I was able to do a 2-year study and put the framework that I share with individuals now. Through that, we found out that actual positive parenting, or our definition of positive parenting or super parenting, is embodying a coaching mindset in parents as well as children as a unit. Now, this raises the question, what is a coaching mindset? What is coaching? So what we are going to do now is go into breakout rooms and find out what coaching is. Do we have enough people to? Yes, okay. So let's go into breakout rooms and find out what is coaching and what is a coaching mindset. And when you come back, please share with us. One person from each group will share the essence of the discussion. Okay? Okay. Coach Fernando will help us creating breakout rooms. Welcome back, everyone. Now we invite one person from each group to share the essence of your discussion. Who would like to go from group one?
For me, maybe first, Pranab, I would like to tell you to share instead of this group, like a represent of this of this group. Pranab, you okay?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay,
No problem.
I would like to share first. Okay, about the with my experience about maybe some kind of bad, some kind of good, I would like to choose all of good to like environment that I connected in my life. be all of good. Maybe like a better for good that make me grow, make me living, make me emotion. And mindset is about to compare, to bring, to send out to the child, to the children. That is this time I have no child, I have no children, but the future maybe I would like to try, if possible. I would like to know about the future, but I would like to do the present with very best, very better, compare from the past, practice myself to be good, like the good person. Maybe like to practice with me about the acceptable man to be the example, to be the exercise for the children with living them with, if possible, in the future, in the next, with like the close friend, like the close friend, many much more about the consulting. When children ask me, I sometimes I have the give the direction to them. Maybe sometimes I give the space to their thinking about the good. Um, it's my mindset is about to see them growth, really growth, very much more to success, much more. If compare me, if they good best for compare than me, better than me, I will really appreciate it, because maybe it's the karma for me to maintain them, to acknowledge them, to be good. I would like myself is to be understand like a close friend. Myself is about the close friend with the friendship, which much more safe, which much more acknowledge, much more recognize that when I hope for one day they separate me, they can live in by themselves, much more good, much more strength, much more courage, like the ideal of the good people, like a good man, maybe sometimes Superman. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. What stood out to me from what you shared is making your child independent, uh, for that, so that he can go and take over the world when he eventually create his own life. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. That's very insightful, and I think that inspires all of us. What was the group discussion? What did you find out? If the groups can share, what did you think is a coaching mindset? Coach Brian, I was listening to your conversation. I thought it was very insightful. Would you like to share some things with us?
Oh, hi. Yeah. I was also saying I'm single, I'm not married. I have no kids, but I thought of using coaching mindset to my students to make themselves better. So before I would, suggest and lead them by myself, but now I want them to do it by themselves.
That's amazing, Coach Brian. Creating self-awareness and again creating that independency through embodying a coaching mindset. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. I think your students are very lucky to have you as an educator. Um, who group two, who would you like to share something with us? What did you think as a coaching mindset? Okay, never mind, that's fine. Right, so there are a lot of ideas in the room, and I'm not going to explain you what a coaching mindset is, but I'm going to share with you something um, different. Okay, right. So you see this iceberg, right, parents? So the tip of the iceberg is the social emotional skills of a regular person. And the bottom of the iceberg is it's the coaching skills. And as you can see, there are many coaching skills, many skills that coaches develop as they go through a specific training. Now, let's take few examples. Effective communication. Now, you might say, oh, I know how to effectively communicate, which is true. Now, have you ever said to your spouse, or has your spouse ever said to you, do you hear a word I say? You never listen to me. And if you have said that, it's very normal. Think about it like this. We go to schools and we are expected to listen to our teachers all the time. However, who teaches us to how to listen? Or where do we get to learn how to listen? Right? And let's look at another one, feedback. Now, when we say feedback, we get a lot of criticism, which is true. But does criticism mean feedback? Do you know there are people that they find it very difficult to give feedback to other people? And also, there are a lot of people that they cannot take feedback, or they struggle to receive feedback without feeling that they have to defend themselves. And where does that come from, right? And emotional intelligence. Let's say, for example, can you think of any person who doesn't have emotions? The truth is, we all have emotions. We all experience emotions in our day-to-day life, right? But in our life, where did we learn how to manage our emotions so that they don't get in our way? So as you can see, there are very specialized skills that you can develop as an individual that allows you to embody a coaching mindset. And now I'm going to share with you an interesting fact. Before I go there, most of people who become coaches with these coaching skills say that when they gain these skills, it's almost like gaining a superpower, but not in any obnoxious way. It's genuinely, they feel like they gain the sixth sense, right? So now I'm going to share this interesting fact with you. In 2018, Google did a study to find out what are the top skills that an executive should have. And can you guess which skill came number one? The top skill? I think you guess it right. Coaching. Google is looking for coaching as a skill in their executives. So imagine if a company like Google is looking for coaching as a skill in their executives. Can you imagine, by embodying a coaching mindset in your children from a very young age, the potential you will unleash in them? And these are some of people that I don't even have to tell you their names. They are world famous people. They are very successful, and these people openly admit that they work with coaches. And as you know, these people work with coaches not because they lack anything in life, but they know by embodying a coaching mindset, they are able to grow their success even more. And that is why I said, by embodying a coaching mindset in your children from a very young age, the potential that we will unleash in them is unimaginable. Right. Now I am going to share a story with you. Let's do a little activity. Okay. So so you can see a fish in the pan, right? So there was a little girl. And she saw her mom cooking a fish, and the mom cut the head and the tail of the fish before she cooking it. So the little girl was very curious, and she went to the mom and said, "Mommy, why did you cut the head and the tail of the fish before you cooking it?" And the mom said, "Well, I don't know. I learned it from your grandma." And the girl was obviously wasn't satisfied with the answer, and she went to the grandma and said, "Grandma, why did you cut the head and the tail of the fish before you cooking it?" And the grandma said, "I don't know. I learned it from your great grandma." So they visited great grandma, and the little girl asked, "Great grandma, Why did you cut the head and the tail of the fish before you cooking it? And the great grandma said, well, back in my day, I had a very, very small pan and I couldn't fit the whole fish in. So I had to cut the head and the tail of the fish. And you might be wondering, why did I share this story with you? What did you learn from this story? Any ideas? Please feel free to turn on your microphone and speak if you have any insights. Okay, no problem.
Coach looks, I think Tina has something to share.
Okay, yes, Tina, please go ahead.
I think we are just following the patterns that have been followed by our parents. That's what the story is about, I think.
That's very, very true, Tina. Anything else?
Just that we are not aware about it and we keep on following that pattern. Those patterns, we have become comfortable following them, I feel.
That's very true. You are spot on. And it's amazing. Thank you for sharing with all of us. So the reason why I shared this story, just like Tina mentioned, um, we live such a busy life. We are we live in a complicated world, right? We are busy with a lot of responsibilities. We have jobs to do. We have so many other things to manage. So sometimes it's very normal that we don't get time. We don't get a chance to question things that we do, and it's very normal. It's understandable. So the problem here is that sometimes there are behavioral patterns and beliefs, and we don't even know how we got them. And as a coach, I have been working almost over 2 years now, and I have come across many people with three major issues. The first one is worthiness. So I'm a parenting coach, so I work with many parents, and one thing uh, parents had in common is that they feel that they are underperforming. They feel that they don't they are not doing the right thing. They compare themselves to other parents. They compare themselves to their parents. They feel that they don't know what the right thing to do for their children, and therefore they believe that they are not worthy of the love of their child. And this is a very common thing, and it's very normal we feel this way. However, the problem, the root cause of this issue is self-worth, that we don't believe that we are worthy of being the parent who we are, or we are worthy of the love of our child. And then have you seen people who are stuck in unhealthy, toxic relationships? They know this relationship is not good for them. They know it's damaging, it's not serving them. Still, they can't move forward. They can't walk away because they struggle to believe that they deserve something better. They struggle to believe that they deserve to be loved and respected. And then achieving goals is another common problem. You know how people set New Year resolutions? The year goes by, so do their New Year resolution. It's because they haven't cultivated a growth mindset. So when they fail or there is an obstacle in front of them, they don't know what to do, so they quit. They just simply quit, right? So, and uh, almost like this is almost like uh, passing the parcel, right? The thing is that these problems didn't appear just last night. They embodied in us as children. We learn it from our parents, and our parents learn it from their parents. And now the scary thing is we are about to pass it to our children. That's why I said it's like passing the parcel. We have been passing this parcel from generation to another because we live such a complicated life. Sometimes we don't get to open this parcel and see what is inside. What am I passing to my child, right? So, because now that we are talking about behavioral patterns and beliefs, let's do another activity. Right? Does this sound familiar to you? Why are these children so hyperactive today? I am going to have to talk extra harder today. I wish they would just listen to me. Why do I always end up teaching classes like this? This was me a few years ago, by the way, as a teacher before I became a coach. I can see Tina is laughing because she knows me personally. Right. So here is another example. My child is completely different at home. Why does she always behave badly with me? I'm so tired trying to discipline her. And if you have said these things, if you have ever heard these things, it's very normal. So when we say these things, it's like a nail looking for a hammer to get hit by. Why me? Why me? Why? All of that. And here is another situation. I told you this will happen. Sometimes we even point our finger to our child and say, I told you this will happen. I told you you have to practice extra hard. See, now you didn't get into the team. You never listened to me. Have you heard people say things? Have you heard these things as a child? Have your parents said these things to you? You don't have to share with us, but think to yourself. And when we say things like this, it's like a hammer. We are looking for a nail to hit. You. It's your fault. Believing that I'm all good and perfect. The problem is with the rest of the world. The problem is with the child. Here is another example. I love my child. I don't want to see him struggle. So I want to help him. He's only a child. He will make the wrong choice. Have you thought like this? And this is very normal if you have thought like this, because this is a very common thing in parents. I have observed this in many parents, and this is very common. So you are not alone. We all have felt these things. And when we say things like that, it's like a nail remover, looking for a nail to remove all the time, helping the child all the time, and doing everything for the child and forgetting about yourself as a parent. And so ending up being burnout and even overwhelmed, right? So this is called Karpman drama triangle. And if you're a coach, you might already have heard about this. So as you can see, the nail is the victim, the hammer is the persecutor, and the nail remover is the rescuer. So Karpman thought about this concept that we go into these positions unknowingly and we get trapped in this position. And it's very common for us to go into this drama triangle and get trapped in it and go in cycles, right? So what is interesting about Karpman drama triangle is, do you believe if I tell you that children too go into this drama triangle without even knowing, even from a very young age? If you don't believe me, here are some examples. When a child operates from the victim position, the child would say, I never get to do anything fun, or everyone is going to laugh at me, or the other kids are always mean to me, no one likes me. Have you heard your child say these things? Yeah, I can see some of you nodding head. Right. And when the child is in the persecutor position, he would say, it's your fault. I hate it. I told you I don't like it, and you made me do it. You know I don't like it, right? It's very common. And then the rescuer, when the child is coming from a rescue position, he would say, oh, I have to lie to cover up for my child, for my friend. Or I will do your homework. It's okay. I will do my sister's homework. It's fine, right? Now, the question is, how do we get out of Karpman drama triangle? And how do we help our children to come out of that drama triangle? Well, becoming the observer, being like a magnifying glass, detaching yourself from the situation and just observing what is happening in me, what is happening around me, what is happening with my child, right? So when, as an example, let's take parents as example. So when the parents come from a victim position, the parent would say, my child is completely different at home. Why does she always behave badly with me? I'm so tired trying to discipline her. But when you become the observer as a parent, you would think, if I was my daughter, what would she need from me in order for her to behave differently, right? And then when you're the persecutor doing this and telling your child, I told you this will happen, you never listen to me. When you become the observer, you would say, well, things go wrong sometimes. How would I make this situation into a learning experience for me as well as my child? And then when you're trapped in the rescuer position, you would say, oh, I love my child. I don't want to see him struggle. I want to help him. And when you become the observer, you would say, how would my child emotionally develop from overcoming this challenge by himself? Right? Beautiful things happen. So as you can see, parents, none of these places are good to be. So when you operate from the persecutor or the hammer position, it's outward. So you always operate with anger, frustration, and judgment. On the other hand, if you come from a place of victim or the rescuer, you always come with this self-doubt and limiting belief and disappointment. However, when you become the observer and when you just hold the magnifying glass and observe what's happening, then you can become curious, non-judgmental, and empathetic. And this is, and beautiful things happen when you operate from observer position. So this is a practical tool which changed my life as a human being and as an educator, as a coach. I have seen really, truly wonderful results by going into observer position. So we invite you to take this tool with you and apply it to your day-to-day life, to your parenting journey, and see the magic happens. Right. So parents, we have please feel free to visit our website. We have a training program called Super Parent Program, and in that you get to learn how to embody a coaching mindset in you as well as your child. And we exclusively for parents who are attending this webinar today, we have a special discount. And if you are interested, feel free to get in touch with me and I will share more information with you. And now, do you have more questions? Do you have any questions for me? Yes, I see Radhika has a question. Can you please unmute yourself?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Good to see you.
Same here. So I have a question. I would like to know if how soon is it, how do I decide that my child is ready to get introduced to this concept of positive mindset coaching and things like that? Because at the age of 4 or 5, or do I have to wait until I start observing destructive behaviors and things like that, or it doesn't depend on that? So yeah.
Thank you very much for the valuable question. I know you are very curious and you have been asking me a lot of questions already. Thank you for bringing that question. It's a very valuable question for all of us. The answer is, you can start embodying a coaching mindset in your child the moment your child is conceived. From your, yes, that's where you start. And as Radhika, she knows me personally, and I have been working with very little children, age 3 and 4, and even younger children. And it's absolutely possible to embody a coaching mindset in children. And it's us who we think that, oh, maybe the child is too small for such a big concept like that. But in truth, they are much more intelligent than we think. So I would say the moment the child is conceived, that's when you start embodying a coaching mindset.
So it's basically coaching myself, and then that's how I become a role model to my child.
Absolutely. So when you change, when you start embodying a coaching mindset in you, that's what you're going to display, right? As we all know, children learn by watching adults. They sometimes, if you there were days that in my classroom, sometimes I would overhear things children say, and I'm like, that sounds a lot like me. So this means they just take everything we say, everything we do, and they don't filter. And Dr. Maria Montessori, who is the founder of Montessori education, says that children have an absorbent mind, which is like a sponge. And whether you pour poison, whether you pour milk, whether you pour water, a child's mind absorbs everything. So how to the best way to cultivate a coaching mindset in your child is to cultivate in you to begin with.
Thank you so much.
Do I answer your?
Yes.
You're
yes.
welcome. Did I answer your question?
Yes, completely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful question.
Good luck. Okay, thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, everyone. So I think we do not have any more questions. And as I said, feel free to visit our website. There are a lot of information there. And also, I'm very happy to connect with you on one-on-one and answer your questions if you have. So thank you very much for joining this webinar. And I hope that you got some value out of it. And so thank you for joining. See you next time.
Thank you, Coach Lux. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.